Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and this one is a continuation of a video that I did not all that long ago. That particular video saw me take a class 50 from Preston up to Dumfries. And I think I even said in that video that it would be good to do the run from Dumfries all the way to Stranraer, which is the end of that particular line. Well, that's what we are going to do here. So yeah, we are on the West of Scotland lines, the Port Road, and we are starting at Dumfries and we are going to Stranraer Harbour. It's not the shortest of routes, it's about 76 miles, and for this particular run we are taking a class 153, so this is going to be making its debut. It's almost a bit of a misnomer calling this thing a demu, but yep, it is one, but it is a single car. So yeah, we are using the regional railways livery, which admittedly never actually ran on this particular line, but nevertheless, it's the livery that I think is the most well known for these things, the sprinters, which is quite the misnomer really. So as far as specifics, well, this is quite a scenic route this, so yeah, it's summer, it's clear, and it's 11 AM. So that is the setup. I'll tell you now, this is likely to be quite a long video, and there's probably going to be a lot of this where I'm not saying anything. So this is one of those where, yeah, if you just like watching the route being done, great. If you want a lot of narration throughout it, this one's probably not for you. Anyway, with all that said, let's get this one underway. And here we are. Yep, here is our class 153. It really is a single car. While we're here, let's let any passengers on. Now, of course, these demus were designed for commuter runs. So with that in mind, we are going to stop at every station on the way. So even though this is saying it's going to take us nearly 2.5 hours, that's not including the times that we're going to be spending at the various stops. So yeah, we are really in for the long haul on this one. So anyway, as you can see, we are at Dumfries. Let's get the train set up. Guard letting us know that he's all set to go. We are nowhere near set to go yet though, so right, get the lighting on, the destination indicator on, even though we really don't need it. Right, want instrument panel light on, don't really need the cab light, so that's okay. This looks like a class 27 coming in. Indeed it is. Now, that's almost everything set up. But the only thing that I still need to do, I'm not going to do it until we've got underway. So take one last look at the area. This is Dumfries, really nice scenic area. Let's get underway. So we are straight onto a 30 mph section here, which is rather handy. We are very briefly into a 60 section, but then we're going back down to a 30 because, yeah, we are going over points, changing our line. There we go. Into a 40 section. Sounds like a steam train approaching. It is. So we're entering a 60 section now, but we have our first stop, Maxwell Town. I've never heard of it, but you know, just because I've never heard of it doesn't mean that there's no such place. Top speed of this loco is 75 mph. I don't know if this line will give us the chance to get to those sorts of speeds, but even if it does, whether or not we will actually be able to do those speeds is another matter. If we are unable to get our train to stop fully on any of these platforms, then yeah, that really shows just how bad my driving is. Well, there you go, that shows just how bad my driving is. The front is over the edge. So, well, the doors are opening. In fact, we're not just over the edge, but we are fucking close to it. So here is Maxwell Town. A very small, like, rural station, but there's more detail here than there is on a lot of the commuter runs on lines like the West Coast Main Line. Just waiting for the signal, there we go. And then I signal him back, and away we go. So straight away we are on the 60 mph section. I do have a feeling 60 mph is the fastest we are going to be able to do on this run. So Class 153 was introduced in 1991, and it is pretty much just a modified Class 155, but has a lot of compatibility with other trains or other multiple units that were around at the time. So these could be hooked up to any of the 150 series, up to and including the 159. But yeah, they were primarily designed to be just a single unit, rather like the old Class 121s. Now that, yeah, the DVD system, it's extremely annoying. If it goes off again, I do have the means to disable it. So we're at 100% throttle. Okay, we are on a 1 in 89 uphill climb, which is no doubt having its effect on us, because yeah, our speed at the moment is 46.4, and while it is still increasing, it's increasing at a very, very slow rate. Speed up again. It's purely because of the gear change, not because of a change in the gradient. In fact, we are now slowing as we enter a 50 mph section. No sign of the gradient easing off any. Right, I can turn that off. And yeah, so I have done, but it does have a catch. The catch is I've also turned off the AWS system, so now I've really got to keep my eyes open when it comes to any signals. And the fact that those signals are all semaphore signals means, yeah, that could be quite tricky, so I've really got to watch what I'm doing here. Other feature that I have on this train is the old, is it CMR radio, NRN radio. It does kind of function insofar as I can send a test signal.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the tone.
This is an NRN radio test call. This is an NRN radio test call.
There you go. Yeah, that was supposed to be me saying this is an NRN radio test call. But that's all you can do with it anyway, so. Entering a 60 mph zone. We also have locker and head coming up. I'm liable to be absolutely butchering a lot of these pronunciations of these Scottish locations, so yeah, bear with me on that. I'm bad enough at the Welsh place names and I am half Welsh. Another steam train approaching. No idea what one it is. I think it was a black 5. They do tend to always be black 5s. Anyway, this gradient is doing a pretty good job of slowing us down for this station, so we're okay. These stations are all quite small, so I need to apply brakes a lot harder than I normally would. And once again, even though I'm in a single car train, yeah, I've overshot that platform so much that I've actually gone straight past it. So what was I saying about, yeah, I'd have to be like, you know, a terrible driver? You've just seen it. So we didn't stop at that station because I completely bollocksed up the stop. In a loco that consists of effectively one mobile carriage. That is, yeah, that's shit. No other way of putting it. Now we're going downhill. This is likely to improve our acceleration rate. So Killy 1 is the next station. Let's see if I can actually stop at this one. It does look like it's a very small platform, but this is a very small train I'm in. You know, I shouldn't have any problem stopping at any of these stops. Alright, so let's ease down. And it's not like the brakes are no good on this thing. The brakes on this thing are absolutely fine. They're more than fine. They are really good. Certainly good enough that I shouldn't need to be braking when I'm still more than 3/4 of a mile away from the stop. There we go, we actually made it at this one. So, yeah, here we are at Killy 1. Killy 1, I'm only assuming that's how it's pronounced. I'll tell you what, a fantastic looking area though. This is not a just trains route, so we shouldn't have any sort of like FPS issues, and yet it should still be like, you know, really good scenic locations. The loco we're in is a Just Trains loco, but yeah, the route isn't. Right. Bit late, but yeah, we'll signal in that we're okay. So we're already some 10 miles into this trip. Which isn't bad. There's only 65 miles to go. And another station coming up already, so cunt is so next, well, I'm having a stab at pronouncing that one. I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah. Cunt looks like that's what it is. I do need to slow down a bit as we approach it though, because yeah, 50 mph limit on the way. We may be able to coast down to that, but we probably have to be doing a bit less than 50 anyway by the time we reach there. So we are well inside that 50 speed limit, even though it's still over half a mile away. Another steam train approaching. So even though this loco I'm in is a bit of an old crate, it is by far the most modern train that we have seen so far, and almost certainly going to be the most modern train we see on the entire run. So, Gunson station there. Yeah, I mean it's way out in the middle of nowhere, but fantastic scenery again. Yeah, very short stop that one. Starting the 50 zone, but it is not long before we are into a 60. Into the 60 zone now. these stations are coming pretty thick and fast. I didn't think there was going to be this many. So Southwick is the next stop. We are on a 1 in 150 downhill section. It looks like it gets steeper than that though, so yeah, really got to watch ourselves on this approach. We are still slowing, but not at the rate we would like. Didn't really want to be braking that hard, not on a curve like that, but well, we made it. So, Southwick station, again, way out in the middle of nowhere. Right. So again, off into a 50, but not for long. And then we go up to 60. Wow. Another station coming along in very quick succession. Dalbeattie is the next one. This one has a much slower approach. So the ETA says it's going to take us just shy of 2 hours. We've only got 60 miles to do. I'm wondering if it is including all of these stops, because there are far more stops than I thought there would be. Sounds like another steam train approaching. Don't see that often, light engine steam. Right, really need to slow down a bit here. Coming in a bit too fast. There we go, we're okay now. Doesn't seem to want to be letting anyone on or off here. This is Dalbeatty station anyway. But yeah, definitely a short stop here. We are off again. Into the 60 zone just in time actually. But not for very long. We enter a 50 zone in just over a mile, and that is while going up another, looks like a fairly steep uphill gradient. We're currently going downhill on a 1 in 116, which is certainly helping the acceleration. It's now 1 in 98 just as we are reaching the bottom of it. We're very nearly speeding. So 1 in 100 uphill. Hopefully this will be enough to bring our speed down before that 50 mph zone. Certainly looks like that is going to be the case. Yeah, easy. There we go. Let's see if we can ease off the loss of speed. It's not bad. So now we're in the 60 zone again. It's more or less flat. Much more gap between stations here than previously. This is the sort of size gap I was expecting. In fact, we've already stopped at more stations on this route than I thought we would do in its entirety. Looks like there might be another one coming up. Castle Douglas is a relatively major station, I think, around here. Ooh. That's me not paying attention again. So yeah, Castle Douglas station coming up in just over a mile and a half, as always. Okay, nowhere near the marker, but it will do. So here we are at Castle Douglas. Again, it's not opening the doors. Yeah, this is a really nice looking station though. Does look again a bit like it's sort of in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, I like the layout here, very nicely done. But yeah, that's our stop here, for what it was worth. Now we need to be a bit slow coming out of here because this 30 mph section that we are practically on top of. But then quarter of a mile we come out of the 30 and into a 60 zone. So you know, we're into the 30 now. So this part of the line we're on, I think this is the Port Road line itself. Yeah, I remember this section from some career scenarios I've done. Needless to say, I did not do very well in them. Line speed comes down to 45 in just over a mile and a quarter. Not for very long though before we are back up to 60. I think it's very safe to say now that 60 is going to be the top speed of this run. But it's not exactly that far off the top speed that this loco can do, so yeah, I've got no problem with that. Which is a good job really, because there's not a lot I can do about it anyway. Brake a little here. So Cross Michael looks like being the next station. It also looks like it's quite a small station, so my track record on this run so far suggests I really got to watch what I'm doing when it comes to stopping at that station. Yeah, one thing I will admit, this run is actually shorter than the run I was going to do. I was originally going to do Carlisle to Stranraer, which was about 106 miles. The ETA said that that was going to take 3.5 hours. I thought that was a bit much. I could have done London to Cardiff and be well on my way back again in that time. So yeah, I thought that was yeah, not ideal. Yeah, a very small station, but it looks like we've made that one okay. Is it going to actually open the doors for us this time though? Yes. So, cross Michael. Look at that again. Fantastic views from here. Really, really nice scenery. As is so often the case with the Scottish lines. So, if you like the scenic routes, you just got to get the Scottish routes. Almost without exception, they are all, you know, incredibly scenic. I'll say almost. No, actually, take out almost. Yeah, without exception, they all have some really nice scenery in all of them. Stranraer Harbour is now less than 50 miles away. I assume this is a loch that we are travelling alongside, but I don't know which one. It'd be nice to know. Anyway, Barton Station coming up. think I may be overdoing the slow approach here, but so yeah, here we are, Parton Station. I don't know, for a welcome. Look at that for a view. I think we can add this to the list of Scottish lines I would really like to experience in real life. This is fantastic. So we've got a couple of max speed reductions coming up fairly soon. So I think it might be an idea for me to just accelerate to 30 and coast until we get to that second 45. I think if we were to do this route now using, like, you know, the rolling stock that would be in service now, for one thing we would be in either a 195 or a 196. The 153s have long since come out of service. The 195 and 196 locos are great, really good DMUs. I wish they were in this game. So we are crossing what appears to be called Loch Ken. Fantastic view. This is certainly not a run for people who like, you know, the fast inner city runs, but if you like your scenic stuff, this is a must-have route. They're on a 1 in 80 uphill climb here. Probably, yeah, we did not have to throttle down very much at all to start losing speed. In fact, the moment we came off 100%, it started coming down. New Galloway is the next station. Okay, Clive has levelled out a bit now. We're still losing speed though, even though we're on 82% throttle. Let the gradient do some braking for us. Of course it really levels out here, so I've got to do some of my own. Now it's picked up, you know, 1 in 85 climb. I am going to sort of presume a question that I know Jim asks a few times on videos like this. No, we are not near Ben Nevis, but one of my Scottish scenic routes does take us very close to Ben Nevis, but it's not this one. It's the West Highland line one that does. it's quite close to Fort William. So here we are at New Galloway with the steam train there. It looks like another Black 5. Coaches are very much LMS coaches, but that's no surprise. LMS would be running this route. Well, back in the steam days. Another very short stop, but yeah. On stations like this, I like to put the throttle up very slightly before taking the brakes off to ensure that we get away fairly smoothly. But on this train you can't do that. If the brakes are on, even slightly, you can't add any throttle at all. So ETA says we have roughly an hour and a half to go on a 1 in 72, and now it's 1 in 83 uphill climb. The uphill climbs I don't mind actually, they're a lot easier to traverse than if we were coming downhill on this slope. Of course, as we keep going up, the likelihood that we need to come down becomes very inevitable. So I can only hope that the downhill part is not as steep as the uphill, but that's a very thin hope, especially in this part of Britain. I know the Scots wouldn't like me referring to this as being a part of Britain, but yeah, it is. So Strone Viaduct there. The viaduct itself wasn't all that impressive, but it still took long enough to build. But what the viaduct lacks in impressiveness, the scenery more than makes up for. One in 80 uphill climb is keeping our speed more or less constant, so we are still gaining speed but at a very slow rate. And this is a tiny station we've got coming up here. It's so small, I think it's more likely to be a halt. I don't think we can really realistically be expecting to stop there. Scarrow. Well, if I'm going to stop there, I'm going to make my mind up pretty soon, It's so small, I can only assume it's a halt, so I'm not going to stop there. That doesn't strike me as being a actual station. Really did not want that. I've left it far too late to stop here now, but yeah, it does look like it is a station, but it's a tiny one. Made up of a few planks of wood now together. Right, I've got a 40 mph limit coming up, so there's no point throttling up at the moment. Let's try and reduce our loss of speed in any case. No effect at all until now, so we've got to put it up to 82 just in order to stop our speed from going down, but then when we do, the speed goes up too fast really. So we're into the 40 zone. Gaining speed now, we're on a 1 in 82, 1 in 76 downhill section now. Still gaining speed, we've got to get our control braking underway. Really hoping it would level out here. We go over the Little Water of Fleet Viaduct. There's some great names, these Scottish places. So now we're on a 1 in 76 uphill. Now we're in a 50 zone, which is very welcome. acceleration is completely stopped as it's now 1 in 76. We're not losing speed, so it's not a total disaster. Brake on a 1 in 76 downhill, and we have a speed reduction down to 40 coming up, so we'll take it quite a bit beyond 40 and then let the let the slope do our acceleration for us. So we have the big water fleet coming up fairly soon. We are in the 40 zone now. Well, the big water fleet looks the same size as the little one. The viaduct is significantly bigger. Maybe that's what he was talking about. Should be big viaduct of fleet. Anyway, we are now into a 50 zone again, so let's get some speed up, especially as we are now on a 1 in 60 uphill climb. Gatehouse station looks like the next one, or gatehouse of something or other anyway. I don't know what. So we're still losing speed at 100% throttle, the 1 in 64 uphill climb. Just started gaining speed again, but we do have to slow down. We will stop at this station, if for no other reason other than it will give me the chance to see what it's called. We are slowing down at a much faster rate than we really want to be. Yeah, the throttle is really not doing a hell of a lot as far as slowing us down, and then when it does finally do something, it speeds us up, which we really don't need. Class 27 there. Do like the old Class 27s. I keep meaning to check to see if I actually have the 27 in BR blue. I'm sure I have somewhere, but I can't remember. Doors open here, so Gatehouse of Fleet. Oh well, we had the big Water of Fleet and the little Water of Fleet, now we have the Gatehouse of Fleet. And we have the very short stop of Fleet here as well. Okay, onwards then. Stranraer is 35 miles away. According to the ETA, it's still about an hour and 10 minutes. Not a route to do or watch if you are in a hurry. But while this is quite a long route for a Class 153, the fact that I now have this loco available means that a lot of, you know, short sort of commuter or rural, you know, journeys I can now do, and I have a loco where, yeah, the choice would make sense to use this. I mean, to be honest, I've always had such a loco. I've had the Class 121, or, you know, since, well, I've had it for years, but no one's ever chosen it for whatever reason. But maybe now with the 153, those sort of routes might become a bit more frequently chosen. At the very least, I might choose some of them myself. So speed decreased to 50 coming up. On this 1 in 71 downhill slope. So we'll do what we did before, we'll take it quite a way beyond 50, take it to about 45 and let the slope do our acceleration for us. There we are, we're in the 50 zone now. So Creetown is the next station. This could be a tricky one to stop at. So a very short platform, and we are on a very steep downhill slope as we approach it. And it doesn't look like the slope is easing off very much. while we are actually on the platform itself. Brake harder than usual for this stop. Yeah, I think we did all right there. So here is Creetown. Not a short stop, but here we are. Again, really nice station. Still have the old water there for steam trains. Still on this 1 in 81 downhill section, so yeah, again we'll let the slope do our acceleration for us. Sure, we would have route masters running on out here, especially not ones that appear and disappear at that same spot all the time. Maybe that's the bus route to Brigadoon or something, I don't know. Into the 50 zone again. We'll leave the acceleration to the slope. It's doing quite a good job of it so far. Certainly doesn't look like there's any sign of it easing off anytime soon. So I was saying earlier about all the uphill climbs and that. Certainly reach the other side of those. almost looks like it's putting us on a avoiding line here. It's saying platform, which suggests a station. Palner platform. It's very much a guess as to how to pronounce that, in case you hadn't figured out. But yeah, there's no actual station display there. The ground does level out as we get there as well. In fact, it levels out pretty much as we reach that 60 mph speed limit increase. So, the slope is leveling out slightly, 1 in 144 now. We are no longer gaining speed from the slope. Yes, we are, but at a very slow rate. And it's now, yep, flat. We use the throttle to take us up to 60. Albeit not for very long before we are having to go back down to 50 again. So the ETA has us arriving in Stranraer in 55 minutes, so yeah, that is power. Yeah, okay, so it's a disused station. That's why we're not stopping there. We have another climb approaching as we reach that 50 mph zone. Let's come off the throttle because we do need to lose some speed. Let's take a look at Cree Viaduct. So that wasn't it. At least I dearly hope it wasn't. Here it comes. See, when I think of viaducts, I imagine, you know, arches and that, and there wasn't a single one there, so I was quite surprised. So into the 50 mph zone, and the slope is back. So currently 1 in 107. So we have another station coming up. Stewart. I think I've eased off on the throttle a little bit early, but we'll just coast a bit longer before applying the brakes. are slowing down a bit too quickly here. Another class 27 at the station. Again, a light engine. We've also got a class 20 right there. It's also a light engine. So yeah, there is the 27 and the 20 looks like it's buggered off. Let's take a look. I'm curious to see where it is. Oh no, 20 is still there in the BR blue. So the 20 is in BR colours. The 27 is still in British Railways green. And we, yeah, are in neither. We are in very much privatised regional railways, whatever colour you would want to call it. Anyway, that's our stop done. Quite a few goods wagons all just strewn about the place. Right, in the 60 zone. We do have a climb approaching. About that for a view. I don't think we are going to get any trackside views. We're on a 1 in 86 uphill climb now, so our acceleration rate is really going to slow. But yeah, we're just getting this view all the time. We're not getting any trackside, which is, yeah, it's a shame. We'll give it one more shot. No, still no. looks like, yeah, we've reached the other side. It's only 1 in 300 downhill. We are not gaining speed from the slope. Ah, now we might be. Nope. We are getting a fair bit of speed, just at 41% throttle. We were. Max speed is coming down in just over a mile and a half, down to 50. Next station, Cohen, in, you guessed it, a mile and a half. May need to brake slightly as we approach this 50 mph limit. Well, quite a lot of this route has actually been like the return trip of a request video I did quite a while ago in the Class 20, the only video so far that Class 20 has been in. That was a video that was requested by Northlander. Even then, he only requested the loco, he didn't request the route, but I thought this was a great route to show the Class 20 in, and that was absolutely the case. It's also been a great route to show this loco in as well. But yeah, if you've seen that video, you may recognise some of this. Clearly we have gone a different route though. Actually no, I don't think we have. No, I was just going to say, because there are some stations we've not passed through. But that's because, yeah, we were going the wrong way. On that one, yeah, we started at Stranraer and finished at Dumfries, so yeah, this is effectively the return trip. So, Cocoan. Not quite as scenic as some of the stations we've done on this route, but yeah, this one really does look like it's way out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Stranraer is now less than 18 miles away. according to the ETA, it's still going to take us about 35 minutes to get there. So, yeah, we're not going to be, yeah, we're not going to be going particularly fast at any point. I do have to point out one serious design flaw with this loco, and yeah, you kind of guessed it. Again, the fucking front door on the, yeah, and the back door here. Now, why are they there? Well, because if this train is attached to, you know, any of the other 150 series, you have the means of getting, you know, yeah, from, you know, this one to whichever train you're attached to. Yeah, okay, but this train was, or this loco was designed to be run as a single car. Therefore, they put in this feature if this train was being used in a manner that it was not built for. Why? So once again, the driver is sort of like, you know, squashed away in the corner here for even less of a reason than he is for all the other, you know, modernish emus and demus that have this feature. I don't know what, you know, what loco it was that started this design thing. I think it might have been the original PEP multiple units. They're the ones that started this whole idea of having these, you know, front and back doors on them. But and the weird thing is, I do quite like the PEP multiple units. But yeah, that's one thing I can't forgive them for. Do not see the point, especially on a 153. The only loco where I can see, yes, there is a reason for having it there, is the 717. If you want to know why, go and watch the video that I did when I, yeah, in the 717. But yeah, that one, it vaguely makes sense when you are in, like, you know, very specific locations, but on a 153 it makes no point, no sense whatsoever. And the speed really does come off a bit sharpish. So I realise we're on an uphill section here, but it's only a 1 in 200. Fucking things. That was some cunt letting them off out in the street. no wonder her speed is coming down at a bit of a rate. It's now 1 in 100 uphill climb. But not for long, and that downhill climb does not look particularly gradual. I don't think we are going to have any more stops until Stranraer itself. We all know how good my powers of prediction have been in pretty much every single one of these videos, so yeah, the fact that I've said that, yeah, watch, there's about another half dozen stations coming on. Whoa, right, 1 in 63 downhill. So we must surely by now be on that peninsula that Stranraer is on. I can't for the life of me remember the name of that particular peninsula. The only one I really know is the one that everybody knows, you know, the Mull of Kintyre, also known as the Knob of Scotland, although Mainmeister runs it a close second for that title. Into the 50. There we go. Told you there'd be another station, didn't I? Glen Luce. Not familiar with that one. So 1 in 90 downhill now. Yeah, it's going to make this approach to Glen Luce station a bit tricky. Another steam train at this station. With its LMS coaches. Another area for steam trains to take water on there. So here we are at Glenluce station. Another very short stop. So it's less than 10 miles to Stranraer. Do I dare predict that there are no more stations between here and Stranraer? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna dare to predict it. Left of my tea is stone fucking cold now. Well, was not paying attention, caught it just too late. Yeah, 1 in 83 downhill. Not doing well from our leaving that station. I haven't heard that for a long old while. Actually got some AWS ramps and light signals. It's no longer semaphores. That certainly suggests that yeah, we are approaching Stranraer. Thing is, there are actually 2 stations in Stranraer, but I don't know if it's going to send us to. Yeah, I think there is a branch when you're going over points. One will take you to Stranraer town, and one takes you to Stranraer Harbour, and that's where we're going. Well, in just under 1.75 miles, we have a section that lets us do 75, which is the top speed of this loco, well, this train. But I very much doubt we are going to get the chance to do 75, especially as yet the station that I predicted would not be there is there. Dunragit. Yeah, that sounds better. No idea if either of them are right, but anyway, that's the next station. Into a 60 zone. 75 zone comes along in just over 3/4 mile, but then the station is less than 1/4 mile after that, so yeah, not really much point in us accelerating at the moment. So we've got an AWS thing there, even though the signals are semaphore. A bit like a power station here. don't think it is one. There's none of these electric pylons coming out of it. I can't really see what it is. Yeah, braking way too hard, or way too early I should say. This is a very small platform here, so we need to make sure we get our braking right. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Good enough that the door's opened anyway, so that's alright. So yeah, done rag it, whichever one it is. This is where we are. Stranraer, just 6 miles away. There can't be any more stations now. ETA has less than 15 minutes from here to Stranraer. We're on the 75 section. Can we get to 75? Max operational speed for this train. Click on that one. Still no trackside view. No. You're on dead straight track as well. Been a good place for it. So we have a 60 mph limit coming up, and we do have another station, Castle Kennedy, so we're not going to reach 75, and we do have another stop, despite the fact that I have at least twice now said that's it, no more stops, so I'm not surprised though. We've got up to 64, which is the fastest I think we've done anywhere on this route. Now 65, that's definitely the fastest we have done. But yeah, we now got to get ready for this stop. I mean, admittedly, this loco is somewhat light by train standards. This is about 42 tonnes, class 153. And that's despite the fact that it has driver cabs at each end of, you know, just this one single unit, so it is quite light. As far as power, it's 285 horsepower, so you know it's okay. it's not remarkable, certainly not by modern comparisons, but for a multiple unit, 285 isn't too bad. But it does leave you wondering why it was built specifically just to run as a single unit, because with that much power, it really does need to be sort of like, you know, in 2, 3, 4 car formations. You do sometimes see them in 2-car formations, but that's the most. You certainly don't see them in 3 or more. I didn't know there was an airport nearby, but I can only assume that light aircraft we saw fly around is an indication that there is one. Castle at Kennedy Station. No idea where the castle itself actually is, or if there even is one left. I mean, Stranraer Harbour now is only 3¼ miles away. Surely now there are no more stations between here and that station, or yeah, our final stop at Castle Kennedy at Stranraer. How the hell I managed to make it last that long, I do not know. So we have plenty of speed reductions coming up as we make the final approaches towards Stranraer. Passengers we have on this train now are surely waiting for a ferry to take them back to Ulster. So that 20 mph section that's fast approaching, we are going to treat it as that being the speed. It's a 1 in 86 downhill slope as we approach it. It's not going to make it easy. So it's now 1 in 260 is downhill gradient, which certainly helps. We're not losing any additional speed now. So I can only assume we are about to go over points, which is why, yeah, it's down to 20. It's now 1 in 85 downhill, so just to make the yeah, these points even more awkward. Okay, so into a 30 zone, we'll let the slope do our accelerating for us. We have the reduction back down to 20 again in half a mile. So yeah, it's put us onto the line that takes us to Stranraer Harbour. I think we had stayed on the other line, it would have taken us to Stranraer town. One in 79 downhill now. It really doesn't want this final approach to be straightforward, does it? Okay, so it's leveled out now. Never any shortage of goods wagons just laying about the place when we're on this part of the line. I thought it was going to take us over those points. We're on these ones instead. Well, we can pretty much stop anywhere here. Let's not go too far. And there we are. So that was Dumfries to Stranraer Harbour in the class 153. That was a great run. Yeah, definitely not the sort of run that you know, you're going to be a fan of if you like, you know, your fast intercity ones. But I thought that was every bit as good as the Chiltern run a couple of videos back, just for very different reasons. And class 153 made a great debut there, that is for sure. So let's see how well we did. I did get a few speeding errors, as I always do. 4. It's better than I thought. So yeah, I didn't do too badly really, all things considered. So there we are, Dumfries to Stranraer, or Stranraer Harbour to be precise. Yeah, great run that. Really did like that one. Took over 2 hours, but it didn't really drag. But then I was playing the game. It may not be the best one to watch unless you are a fan of the scenic routes, which I am. So anyway, that is that one done, and we will see you at the next one.